Hey, California fans, it's Raz calling from Cardiff. This is my kind of like end of the season show. Um, I've got my phone going on at the same time, so pardon that. Oh, well, what a rush. What a way to end the season. I say it's a bit flat. I was watching the Champions League match last night, Real Madrid versus Liverpool. Come on, be honest. How many of you had Liverpool to win? I shouldn't laugh. It was a really good final. I think Liverpool, with the amount of attacks that they've had, um, they just couldn't break down Real Madrid. Real Madrid was like they had a few scares. I think it's their goalkeeper, Courtois. I may have his name totally incorrect, but he kept them in the match, and they snatched it. And again, they just controlled the match. So Real Madrid 1-0, Champions League winner for I think the 14th time in their history, and we've got like 14 FA Cups. It shows a difference, doesn't it? It shows a big difference. So I've got as usual, I've got Ashley D in the house. Ashley D, I tell you what, man. Thank you very much for this season. The way that you supported me on this platform has been amazing. And I said that whenever I'm back in London, I owe you a drink or two because you've been fantastic, especially with the watch-alongs. The watch-alongs, I think they kind of like morphed from my Voice of Reason. I used to do Voice of Reason, if anybody used to watch. Raz'S Voice of Reason, really? Raz'S Voice of Reason? What? Yeah, that kind of morphed because of my work. My work is doesn't give me as much time. I mean, Alex, I don't know how Alex does it with his work, but Alex is a phenomena. He's a phenomena. But you guys are the ones that keep us going on this channel. The moderator's been fantastic as well, and the length of chat and the kind of like I say quality of discussion on Cannon Fodder TV, whether it's the easy talks, whether it's Alex doing the Monday project, and you guys out there, it's been fantastic. I can't stress enough how much you've we really do appreciate the engagement. We really do appreciate the comments and the positives, even some of the negatives, because you can't have a positive without a negative. It's just the way it is. But it helps the channel grow. And as I said before, this kind of platform has stretched my technical capabilities. I'm still acquired some new equipment, so hopefully the quality will be a bit better. If you saw Alex and I last week around the Emirates, I had the forethought it'd be good to actually go to the last match, but I couldn't get tickets in advance. If I had planned it better, we would have done. But walking around the stadium, if you saw the video last week, it was flat. I'm always optimistic. I'm always optimistic. That's just my nature. But some of the people that we interviewed, they gave us honest opinions, and I didn't get to interview as many people as I want because trust me, trying to actually go up with a mic to someone like yourselves, it's not easy. It's not easy. You have to do this kind of thing every time. So I do appreciate the other platforms who can actually do that, and Alex and I will take the learnings. Well, it's more for me. It's more for me and my developments. But like I said before, you guys have been fantastic out there. And like Arsenal, we improve. We take the positives, and we'll sort ourselves out. You would have seen me during the watch-alongs, how passionate I get, and argumentative, and try and remonstrate with things that's beyond my control. But it is what it is. And like I said before, it's fantastic that on this platform, even on the WhatsApp group as well, you guys, I can't keep up with your comments. Your comments come in about 1,000, to the dozen, and I just do like one response. Sorry, my screen seems to have gone a bit weird then. Sorry guys, bear me a second. For some reason, there we go. Yeah. So what I'll do, I'll go into the chat. Going to my main guy here, Ashley D. He says, "Hey up, Gooners." Hey Gooners, it's a Sunday afternoon. So I appreciate, if you come in and just give us a couple of comments and tell us what you think about the channel, what you think about the season as a whole. I know Alex, from, I believe, maybe from tomorrow, I'll give him a bit of leeway, maybe within the next week or so, he'll be doing his transfer daily slot as well. So, what is your recommendations? Who would you like to see potentially come in? If Arsenal's going to spend any money, who would you like to see go out? I'm sure there's going to be a lot of chat on that. I'm forever optimistic. I'm still trying to gauge my head around what happened during the season, because from the start until the middle, when we had the international break, and then from then on after the international break, it just went pear-shaped, and then it didn't, and then it did towards the end. So like Arsenal, we are a bit of a roller coaster. I'll go into his next one. Actually, it says, "Ha ha ha! I'm so happy Liverpool lost." I'm going to take a neutral. I knew I had an inkling that Real Madrid would win, but I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool had come back to at least stretch them because of the strength of the squad. There we go. Going to another one. Actually, this says, "Nothing better than a good Mad Dog Ralph watch along. How about counting the amount of headbutts on your ceiling?" You know what? Actually, I have to say that just doing this, just sounding off, um, as an Arsenal fan, where we used to be and where we are now currently, there's a lot of work in progress, but we've always said that. We've always said that there's a lot of work in progress. We've always said that how, we take the positives and we'll progress. My main, I suppose my main take on it is, so what's going to happen next? We've had a couple of eights. Now we're in fifth place. We just missed out. I'll give you a quick story. I did share this on the WhatsApp group. So after Alex and I did our bit to Cameron, we went to the pub, and things didn't happen too good at that pub, so we leave it there. On my way back, because my family live in the wrong side of North London, I didn't walk down the high street, Seven Sisters High Street. I decided to go around the back streets because I still had my top on my baseball cap. And thinking I was smart, just as I was about to edge towards Dowsett Street, thereabouts, a car drew up next to me, and the driver said, "You guys just fell a little bit short." I was thinking, that's great, typical. And it was one of them down the road fans. I said, "Yeah, well, we'll do that. We take it, and we'll improve next season." And then before he drove off, he said, "Yeah, well, you said that for the last 6 seasons." And then he drove off. If I could have picked up something and chucked it at his windscreen, I would have done. But I had to hold it in. Sometimes when a better team beats you, you have to hold your hands up. But I feel that we've been letting them off the hook too many times. We've had so many chances to improve, and we didn't take it. Whether it's down to tactical, whether it's down to having the kahunas, as a certain Watford captain mentioned a few seasons back, the lack of nous, I always say the L-tel of dark arts. If someone have to apply the dark arts at times, in the right times, because cams are everywhere. Or just outscore the opposition. Outscore them. I've always said that, don't rely on VAR, don't rely on the linesman, the referee, the fans, the conditions. Just put the ball in the back of the net. Put the ball in the back of the net. And if it's counted offside, do it again. Outscore the opposition. That's the name of the game. So let's go back into some more comments, because there's quite a few that seem to be coming in. Let's see, check this one. John Laguna says, "Where's the resident Scouser gone?" I think he's probably just sinking the few, if I'll be honest, John. But listen, as Alex mentioned early in the week, we have fans not just from from our team. We have fans from Doncaster. I think there's a Portsmouth fan. We've got one of them, probably won't admit it, from down the road. He's a fan as well of the channel, probably views it. Liverpool fans, Man City fans. I think maybe one. I'm pretty certain maybe one or two Chelsea fans as well. So it's all good. It is all good, But as competitive as I am, sometimes you have to be a bit humble as well. So at least they'll say that at least they got to the final. They had a chance of doing the quadruple, and they've only done one. So take from that as you will. I would love to win the Premiership or the FA Cup, but I think we've done the FA Cup maybe too many times. We need to start being. I think the real pedigree of a team is when you win the Premiership and you can do it back to back. We need to have that hunger again. And as always, please leave a like and a thumbs up and subscribe. Subscribe, people. Says Canford fans. Subscribe. This is actually it says Carl's probably still trying to get into the state. That was crazy. After I was watching the match, and I went on for 8 o'clock, and they said it was delayed because there was some fans trying to get into the stadium, and they were tear gassing. I just saw on the news just earlier that the French police had riot police there, and they were tear gassing people. So I just don't understand it. I don't understand. If you've got tickets, then you got tickets. If you ain't got tickets, then go to a pub or watch it at home. Why do you want to go and cause trouble? So let's see what John Green says. Ashley D. Law, he wasn't on that speedboat, was he? And Ashley D comes with a reply, he's still swimming. Okay, let's leave our resident Liverpool fan out the frame because let's put it this way. I think we would swap places with Liverpool if we could play just as good as they have been this season. They did push Man City to the wire. Alex and I went to a pub in Finsbury Park because the pub that we went to wasn't showing the match last week. So we went to this other pub and they showed the Man City match and the Liverpool match. And it was just end-to-end stuff. And the way that Man City managed to get it, plaudits to them. But when I watch these teams, I just think, well, what does Arsenal need to do? I'm going to be on here for a while, guys. So just tell us what you think Arsenal needs to do, because have we progressed? Seriously, have we progressed? I know we've had 2 8th finished places. In Arteta's first reign, we won an FA Cup and a Charity Shield. But since then, we've got some new youngsters. I think it's all about trying to find a balance between new youngsters and having some experienced heads around them. Because there were some matches where we didn't need to lose. I say didn't need to lose. We lost. Crystal Palace was always going to be a street fight. But Brighton and Southampton, you see, those 2 losses, they will put us in good stead. I don't like to say afford to lose to them down the road, but it wouldn't have stung so much. And I'm still smarting over it. I know I meet a guy at work who is a one of them down the road fan. I bumped into him for the whole week. I bumped into him about maybe 4 or 5 times. Normally, I don't see this guy at all. And for me to actually bump into him 4 or 5 times, I think God is probably saying, well, you need to talk to him. I said, no, I don't need to talk to him. It's just, it's frustrating when your team is so close. Oh, look who we've got here.
What's happening, people? What's happening? What's happening, Ralph?
I'm good there, bruv. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Yeah?
I'm good. It's been a long old season, man. Long old season.
It has been a long season. I think it's been a long season because, I mean, the speed of the season, to me, it's gone quite quick.
Yeah.
I think it's gone quite quick. But it's a long season when the results haven't gone our way and the performance in certain games where when I tell you what, I was really optimistic when we beat Leicester at Leicester. and Ramsdale pulled off some fantastic saves in that match, and the defense stood up. I was thinking, this team looks like they're on their way, and then it kind of like dawdled a little bit. I was kind of like hoping that the international break would put us in good stead, but it seemed to like pull us back. And then when we had the losses to the three, it was like, oh no, here we go again. And the amount of times we always, they say that it's the hope that kills you. It's the hope that kills you. And the amount of times I've hoped, and then it doesn't come to fruition. And then you go on a little run where I wasn't thinking about top four, if I have to be totally honest. But I have seen some other streams, and there's one guy says, my expectation is just to win. Why is it that we always seem to try and settle for top four? Because if you go for top four, you tend to go below that. So if you aim higher and you're in top four, you finish top four, then you know where to kick on from there. So I think that there's a kind of chance of being realistic, but then we always say that. I think we've been the most patient of fans for the longest time. What's your take on it?
I think we've been impatient. We've been impatient, Ralph, because we haven't won the league for 17 years. We've been impatient, and we've quite right as well. I think we haven't been patient. We've been impatient. And if I look at the season as a totality, it's disappointing. I understand the debate for, a lot of us weren't even thinking we're going to get top four. We got top five with this squad, a young squad, but we must never lower.
To come back in, or if I have to refresh.
Oh. Can you hear me?
I think what I'll do.
Well, I'll carry on to Ralph.
Yeah, you dropped out.
Oh, I dropped out. Okay, I think it's probably you. School bars here, but I think the three games the beginning of the season with Brentford, I think it was Chelsea and Man City. I couldn't see us beating Chelsea or Man City. I thought at least would have beaten Brentford, but I think consistently to be losing, three and a bounce beginning of the season, after the international break, losing those three games there.
Switch it off and put it back on again seems to be the best technical system that we have so far.
But it's all right. I'll carry on until you sort something out, because I'm as far as I know, I'm okay. But it was that, knowing what was at stake and coming after the international break, and then knowing that Tierney had gone out on an international duty, he reported back, and he carried an injury back at club level, and so knowing what was at stake, that part of the season, the players just did not react. Crystal Palace, terrible, and in the end, Southampton, and then to see the manager got a new contract after three losses again was it was difficult to take. So I think.
What do you think about?
Go on.
What do you think about the board giving Arteta that contract? Would you have preferred that the board waited until after the season, or do you think they were right, or do you think that what do you think? What's your take on that?
Well, it really doesn't matter what I think, but if you ask me the question, they should at least waited until the end of the season. I joked about, somebody got a contract, but it wasn't me, and job not done. The job wasn't done.
I know.
The job wasn't done, but yet, like you say, he was given a contract after the third loss. Speaks volumes. Speaks absolute volumes, because, they doesn't matter what would have happened. If we lost 4 on the bounce, they would probably still give him the contract. So that tells you that Arteta is their guy, no matter what happens, Ralph. And next season, there's always talk about, whether if he doesn't get top 4, he should be sacked. whether he gets top 4 or not, he would not be sacked. It's not going to happen. But it was disappointing, but it speaks volumes, Ralph. That, you know, the guy, 3 losses, Ralph, and he happens to get a contract. Not good. Not good. You back with us?
Like I said, you know, any of you guys are watching, if you'd like to just put your comments in the box, or if you want to join us as well, just to say what you think. Personally, we always seem to have a history of rewarding mediocrity, not doing enough, not being active. It's like we've got money to waste, and we don't have money to waste. The amount of times that we say, oh, we need this player, that player, and we my screen seems to be going on. We go in half clocked, as it were, and when we make a bid, it's easy for the opposition to say, well, Arsenal's not really serious. We have never been serious, and when we do go in for players, we overbid. You know, you look at Pepe, for example, that was an overbid. We can go further back, but I don't want to go further back because I feel we lose focus on that. But Arsenal don't seem to learn the lessons. The amount of times that we've seen the same model happen time and time again, and then it's like, oh well, it's all right. Maybe next season. That's why I dislike we'll take the positives. If you take the positives, it means that you've learned something and you move forward. You don't regress backwards. Where I work, we've told that it's okay to make a mistake. If you make a mistake once, then fine. Put your hand up and then we'll learn from it and we'll move forward. But if you repeat the same mistake, it means that there's something wrong with either me teaching you or you not understanding. When it comes to a club, we make the same mistakes not once in a blue moon. We'll make them often. When is it that we're going to stand back and say, look, these are the mistakes that seem to be on a consistent time, a consistent period. What is it that we're not learning? Or is it the fact that the people that we've got in those positions are not good enough?
But Ralph, let me ask you this question, all right? So I come in as a new owner of Arsenal FC, and I say, all right, you know what? Let's come together. Let's have board members, and let's thrash out some of the details of what I want to see at the club. And I say to you, as you're the manager, whatever you do, do not get relegated. Whatever you do, make sure you spend within these margins. Whatever you do, if you win a trophy, then it's fantastic. But all costs, do not get relegated. And you meet those parameters there, Ralph. He's met the parameters, Ralph. Because Kroenke said he has not brought Arsenal to win trophies. He's not brought Arsenal to win trophies. And so Arteta, and I'm not saying literally this is a debate for Arteta in, Arteta out. No, I'm just saying when you've got an owner who's come in, who's on the verge of passing down AFC to his son as a toy or whatever it is there. Arteta has met those parameters, Ralph. He's met them. So you can either say, well, in actual fact, yeah, well done. We didn't get relegated. Everyone's streaming back into the stadiums. They're on the verge of releasing another new kit, the black kit with the gold. Fans are going to flock to the Armory to buy that. So you still got a steady stream of income coming through the club. But Arteta has met the parameters which has been set by the Kroenkes. Nothing more and nothing less. But from a fan's point of view, it's frustration. Because I'm not going to say we want someone like Abramovich, Ralph, but you want an owner with ambition. And he pulls people in who have ambition. People who know how to run a club. We don't have that at Arsenal, Ralph. We don't have that. And that's a sad thing about Arsenal. 17 years and counting. And we're not going to win the Premier League anytime soon, Ralph.
Sorry, guys. We seem to be dropping in and out of... I think Alex is good. I'm still trying to keep up with him.
Your turn, Ralph.
So I'm trying to clean up some of my was it your my signal keeps dropping you in and out. Yeah. To pick up on what you said, if the owners come in, not if the owners come in, the owner's been in residency for X amount of years, and his expectations were all right. So we've had a rather difficult period this season, but you know what? Let me just take it back. I think it was like January. Was it January when Arteta and Edu went to see Kroenke over in the States? There's a photo or a video of them they're on some balcony. I think they were watching the LA Rams. It must have been the LA Rams because the LA Rams were getting close to the Super Bowl. And when I saw Arteta and Edu and there's Kroenke, there must have been a conversation about, okay, well, look, forget about LA Rams. I know we're here. Was it LA Rams or maybe the Rapids or whoever it was that he owns? Okay, Mr. Owner, here we are in January transfer window. We need to strengthen because everybody else is strengthening. And Kroenke would say, you guys seem to be good because we seem to be over the worst so far. We seem to be over the worst. Wasn't it Edu and Arteta who said to us then, well, we don't need to spend in January because so far we seem to be okay. Not
Edu.
Looking at the African Cup of Nations, Edu, not looking at the fact that players that can literally sideline the whole team to put us back into a spin as it did. Not preparing enough to say, you know what, actually, let's try and get either another left back. Tomiyasu was out, and that's the reason why we put Cedric in. Midfield looks weak, so let's just try and get a midfielder. Let's try and do something proactively. So then when it goes into the last few months of the season, depending on the severity of the injuries, well, we knew with Tierney was going to be out. With Partey, unfortunately, Partey picked up, and then he was going to be out. Surely, within the three of them, they could have seen. They should have had that kind of conversation, the what if conversation. Let's just make sure that at least we've done something so that it doesn't come back to bite us, as it has done this season, because everybody else strengthened, and look what's happened. So your point about the owner saying don't do anything other than avoid relegation, get us into Europe. Have done.
I don't think that was on the agenda, Ralph. I don't think that was on the agenda. Get us into Europe. That was not on the agenda, and I don't even know what's.
I think maybe as a byproduct. That was a byproduct. I'm gonna just go into some of the chats because some has come in. So I'll go with Ashley D. What he said earlier about the speedboat incident. He comes in, he's still swimming, and Ashley D says he forgot his rubber armbands, and then we're going to go straight back in seriously with what we're talking about. Nomad said, "You're so right, kind of fodder. He's their guy. If they change manager, it means spending money on new players." Nomad says, "Hi to John Laguna." And John Laguna replies, I believe, "Afternoon, Nomad. He nicked us Champions League spot." There we go. God's Power Malud says, "I want to ask, can Pep, Klopp, Conte make top 5 with this Arsenal present squad? in my personal opinion, this is an improvement. Arteta is right man for the job now because the like of above coach can't do it. What do you think?
Can you leave it up back? Put it back up. I didn't see it, Ralph. Put it back up again, please.
Yeah.
Can Pep?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they've got the experience. They've got bag more experience than Mikel Arteta. And the game, we lost against was Newcastle. And the phrase that I've coined, the Olympiacos look. And the reason why I say the Olympiacos look, because when we were losing, he had this look on his face like he didn't know what to do. And that look comes back across his face where he doesn't know what to do. Against Newcastle, he did not know what to do. I'm sure a Pep Guardiola would know what to do. A Conte would know what to do. They would know what to do because they've been through the whole experience of winning and losing bad. They've got experience. You can't come at this level with a little experience you have and still managing one of the top clubs in the country. So to your question, they could get a performance out of these set of players. And just going off point, Ralph, slightly, they would not be overusing the young players like Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka, the Euros, out on his feet, knackered, whole long season, and again, overplaying the player. January transfer window, they would have bumped up the squad in the January transfer window. Why? Because the squad numbers were very, very short. You need to replace a striker like Aubameyang, a striker that can guarantee you a lot of goals per season. And they didn't do it. They didn't do it. And so we were left short. So again, the answer to your question is they could have got a song out of these players. It's as simple as that. Is Mikel Arteta right for the job? Well, he's right for them. He's right for them.
Summed up beautifully.
Sorry. Oh dear. And the thing is, Rav,
here's a no match response. You lost your jobs.
The thing is, you look at Liverpool. Liverpool, when they're linked to a player, they get the business done. Linked, pow, they sign the player. Arsenal linked to a player, they'll be thinking about it, reflecting. Oh, should we? I'm not sure. And so, another element about Arsenal is how we do the recruitment. And when we recruit the player, is the player the right profile that we need at Arsenal? Is it the right profile player? And then we put out 100 players out on loan, Ralph. Reece Nelson, the one in Europa League. Ceballos, again, you could debate whether he should have stayed or is now Champions League winner. Saliba, young player in France, has got an international call-up for France. Oh, and Hector Bellerin as well. Hector Bellerin, they've all been loaned out and they've won trophies. So our recruitment process needs an overhaul. We need a new owner. We know that it's not going to happen anytime soon, but it's a lot of frustration when you dissect Arsenal, Ralph. Chronic problems at Arsenal. Chronic. I need to put the light on.
But you know what? As much as you say that we've got chronic problems, I don't think that we're going to be able to change that kind of situation anytime soon.
Why?
Because
why?
Like you said, because I'll tell you why. Because we've got a fan base that will still support the team no matter what. We've got an owner that is short-sighted, and he's, like you said, if I would have loved to have got to be able to have the ability to go back in time and tell those people around the board that why would you invest in a owner who does not share the vision of who Arsenal is. You know, no matter where, when you look at Arsenal's timeline, we win stuff, but we win stuff because we had the right people in those places. Okay, as hard as it was for me to accept the fact that we had to move from Highbury, it's a conversation that I have with quite a few Arsenal fans. We didn't need to move, but the borough didn't want us to add an extension or to widen the stadium. So it seemed that the logical thing was to move from where we were to where we are now. However, and I always say this, you always can see what a person's like by not what they say, but what they do. And when Silent Stan was silent, and it's Silent Stan, I'm thinking, okay, he's silent, but at some point, he's got to talk. He's got to say, he's got to give a vision of what he wants for the club. Usmanov pretty much told us what he wanted to do for the club. And Dan Gotti pretty much told us what he wanted to do for the club. Why is it that we've got an owner who doesn't say nothing? He let his other people talk for him. I can understand that. I can understand maybe you don't want to talk, you rather want to do. But what he's done, look what he's done so far. Look what he's done so far. Now he is in a position for the last, about 4 or 5 years that he owns the club 100%. He doesn't have to have an AGM. He doesn't have to call an AGM. Because that means that when you call an AGM, you're calling people from underneath you to point the fingers to say that you're not doing your job properly. And he hasn't done his job properly. He's got multiple franchises of other. But
that's it, Ralph. You're saying that he's not done his job properly. Why has he not done his job properly? We haven't been relegated, Ralph. We're back in Europe.
No, I understand that. I understand that point. But what I'm saying is the people who allowed him, who sold their shares to him, they gave him the leeway to say, right, I can close the door on the fans. Eltel was saying how that we're legacy fans because we know anyone from maybe mid-30s, 50s down to the mid-30s down, okay, knows what it means to win stuff. Knows what it means that, when Arsenal, the amount of times that I've gone through on my timeline, looking at how Arsenal did 89, did 2005, did 94 and 98, even a couple of seasons ago with the FA Cups. Okay, that's all good. But we know that in the next level, we should have progressed to the next level. And we had people in place to help us, but then they decided to buy in to Kroenke. They didn't buy into Usmanov. Maybe in a weird kind of sense, maybe that was, it kind of worked out in a weird kind of favor because of what's happening in Russia at the moment. But there's no doubt in my mind, I feel that we would have had pretty much what Chelsea's going to do, what Chelsea are doing now. They sold. Their owner had to, sell the club to an owner, to somebody else who can afford it. We've had interest. But the stumbling block is that Kroenke knows that it's a golden egg, and he much rather keep it in the family than to offload it. And he's not going to offload it anytime soon. We have to prize it off his dead hands, so to speak, or off out of the family's hands to make it worthwhile for us fans. Like you said before, everyone is buying. When we was doing the walk around last week, how many fans did we see purchase new kits? Purchase new kits. So they're bought in onto that. It's like, okay, well, we can't move him, so I buy a kit. But then you're buying a kit, so you're keeping him in there. There is a rose-tinted glasses approach to understanding how this thing works.
But Ralph,
and in the meantime,
but if you've been born into mediocrity, you won't know any better. if you've been born into, an elite club, being successful, with that comes, ruthlessness. You got to have trophies. Then that's what you're used to. But if you've been born into mediocrity, you won't know any better than that. You'll be sat in ignorance. And I say ignorance is bliss. It's not bliss, man. Ignorance is not bliss. Because a lot of the fan base, right, have not seen the Premier League. So they've been born into this mediocrity. They're thinking, oh, right, okay, this is what Arsenal's about. This is what Arsenal is not about. Arsenal's not about mediocrity. But because of the owner, again, coming in with his plans, going forward, passing it down to Josh Kroenke, and Josh Kroenke, by the way, having a communication with the fan forum. I'm thinking, well, fan forum, man, you guys need to wake up, man, because we're sleepwalking even deeper into this mediocrity. So again, if you've been born into this, you don't know any better, Ralph. You don't know any better.
I understand that, Alex. And my frustration. No, I get it. I understand.
Can you hear me, Ralph? He's
I can hear you.
With his Wi-Fi, methinks.
Let me go back out and then come back into it again. Can you hear me? Can you hear me and see me?
He's having problems with his Wi-Fi. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Alex. Can you hear me?
You're back again now. Go on, go for it.
Yeah. I understand about the mediocrity attitude, and it seems to have transferred itself from up top to the players, to some of the players that we've had. And when you see it on the pitch, it's frustrating. It's frustrating when you see we had less ability players 10 years ago that kept us in the top 4 than we have the players that we have now that kept us out of the top 4. That's the frustrating aspect of it. And it's like most fans, maybe I might be singling out some of our fans, as it were. I feel that most of our fans are hoping that someone's going to come in, someone's going to turn up and change the whole thing. But it can't be changed if the manager is not willing to take a gamble or a chance on getting a stronger number 2, for example. At this moment in time, season's done, everyone's on the beach, so to speak. You know what I mean? Everyone's on the beach, everyone's thinking, okay, well, we wait till next season. My take on it is you got to start doing stuff now. It may be holiday season, but we're in transfer season. So start doing your business now. Start nailing down those parts, because we've got a World Cup coming. Some of our players are injured or are on loan and have to come back. You're going to have to make a decision to say who you're going to keep and who you're going to sell, and who you're going to you're not decided upon if you're going to give them another season or two. Who you're going to get? I don't know. My hands are empty. My head's empty, because I'm just thinking, you know what? This season has been tough. It has been challenging for us fans, because there's nothing worse than getting bantered by Newcastle. But Newcastle got new owners, so now their checkbook is open. Man United going to strengthen because they've got a new manager. Chelsea got new owners, so they're going to strengthen. Them down the road are going to start spending. The two that first and second, you think Klopp is going to say, well, you know what, I've done what I can. I'm going to start looking elsewhere. He's loved up in Merseyside,
yeah.
So he's going to strengthen. Man City, they've won it, but Pep wants the Champions League, because he was sat watching that match last night and thinking, you know what, I know half those players. My team play against those players. So he wants to be in that final. They threw away the semis.
Yeah.
Threw away the semis. So he knows that they're getting closer. So he's going to strengthen. So you got everybody else ambitious. And here we are. We are the Arsenal. And yet we're just thinking, well, you know what? It's a summer. Let's just go to the beach. Let's see this. Let's go on the beach and get an ice cream, watch the tide come in and out. Oh, hang a minute, mid-season practice. Oh, they've got a tour, haven't they? They've got a tour in July, I believe.
Yeah, the States. Yeah.
So what's going to happen there? It's going to be, you're showing off your new kit. You're showing off that, this is the Arsenal that's going to strengthen and go against the top four for next season with no players coming in, or no wordings of any players coming in, or just getting the job done.
I tell you what, Ralph, you come to the right place. No players coming in, or we've been linked to at least 10 different players so far. I mean, Gabriel Jesus, Yuri Tillemans, lately Alvaro Morata, another Chelsea reject. So we're linked to some players, and being linked to players is one thing, but buying players is something completely different, as you know, it's obvious. But he needs to bump up the squad. He has to bump up the squad. I've not seen any news in regards to how much the war chest is going to be, but you can't tell me we're going to go into a new season not improved on the numbers. It might be he's probably looking at the players who put out on loan and calling back them without spending money, but that would be the death knell for Mikel Arteta if he's thinking like that. But there's been at least 10, I can't even say solid connection to players, because I've always said, Ralph, that I don't believe it until I see the player holding up the jersey of Arsenal. Even then, I'm a little bit curious about whether it's been a photoshotted there. But 10 players at least. 10 players at least. And I think it was DWTT who said that we need roughly like 10 players to bump up the squad. 10 players, Ralph. How did we get into this position? Sleepwalking. But next year, the funny thing is, I find myself saying the same thing. Next season is going to be a watershed moment for Arsenal. Let's see if he can secure top four. Let's see if he can keep the players, the core group of players, your Ramsdales, your Martinellis, your Sakas, and whether William Saliba will come back. Although I don't think he'll come back to Arsenal. Why would he want to come back to Arsenal? Why? Not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So big things have to go on, Ralph, for next season, man. But
what would you say is, because we don't have no control over this, obviously, but what are your expectations?
I don't want any control.
Because if you remember last week with the two brothers there we saw, I said to them, what's your expectation? Would you think, or what do you think is the target for Arsenal?
What he's been set by Kroenke, or what I think the target?
What do you think? In fact, what do you think is going to happen for next season? Because, like you said, this is the watershed moment.
Yeah, I can't see us securing. I think it's going to be very, very tight because, like you said, Ralph, Pep, and I think he said in the interview that the secret is to win, and win again. So he's going to no doubt beef up and improve his squad. Man United have a new manager now, Ten Hag, who actually Ralph Rangnick has just said, I won't be taking on a consultancy job at Man United. So they're going to be bumping up. Chelsea are going to bump up. Man City, Liverpool. So it's going to be a tough ask next season, Ralph. So I'm going to say again from the get-go, from here, mark it, the 29th of May, 6 minutes before the hour of 6 o'clock, the Arsenal will not get in top four for next season, Ralph. And it's not like, how can I say this? Because people always say, oh, but you're so negative, Alex. If you're going to ask me a prediction, I'll give you an honest prediction. So I think Arsenal will not get top four next season, Ralph. I want Arsenal to get in top. I want them. They should be challenging for the Premier League, Ralph.
Yeah.
Every season, you should be challenging and thinking by hook or by crook, whether it means we're going to be, substituting a fan favorite or bringing a striker or buy a player that's not so popular for Arsenal. It could be Harry Kane. We'll do it because it demands that. We can't be literally just going on a willy-nilly, we're going to hope for the best. We're going to be ruthless, Ralph. And that's why Pep Guardiola has remained at the top. 4 Premier League titles in 5 seasons, Ralph. 4 Premier League titles in 4 seasons, in 5 seasons. Because he's been ruthless. He's been backed by the club. He's been given the money, and he knows how to use the money. You said about Klopp, they love him on Merseyside. He was given time, but he comes with the experience. So I'm saying it from today, Ralph, we're not going to get top 4 for next season. Because all the other clubs, are going to be 5 other clubs or 4 other clubs better than us, knows how to recruit, know how to get players, are being backed, know how to use the money. Boom. Now, in regards to KSC, I have no idea what expectations they put on Mikel Arteta's door. So I've got no idea, Ralph. Your guess is as good as mine.
Well, Edu and Arteta, they didn't want to say anything because if they did say what the expectations were and they fell short of them, then they knew that the fans would have given them hell. They knew the fans would give them hell. So they had to play the cards very closely to their chest. Hence the reason why they didn't say anything. But you know what? Every fan who buys a shirt, I'm going to put an appeal. I'm going to put an appeal out. Every Arsenal fan, whether you're on this platform, if you see it later or tomorrow or whenever, I'm going to make an appeal to you. Every Arsenal fan that makes the Kroenke that bit better off by buying the merchandise, by buying into what Arsenal is, what your perception of Arsenal is. You have a God-given right to ask the club, ask the manager, ask the board, what is the vision for next season? Write a letter, send it to the press office, send an email. Go to the club or whatever, and if you want to not protest, because nobody wants to protest now unless the Super League picks up again at some point. You've got a right. You've paid your money, as Alex always says. You paid your money. You make your choice. Right? You pay your money. You make your choice. You've got a right to say, you know what? I've bought into this kit. I bought into buying 3 kits for this season: a training kit, a kit for my children, a kit for my partner, or whatever. But what is the vision of Arsenal? What are you going to do? Next season that you didn't do last season. And you know what? I'm daring. I'm going to start being really daring. No one's going to do that. No one's going to do that. You know why? Because everybody is on a hope and a prayer that things are going to change. Nobody wants to sit down and try and analyze. Hang on a minute now. How comes Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, them down the road, Man United, West Ham, Newcastle, what have they done that we haven't done? Who have they got to make their clubs better? And who have we got? And what is the message that they're trying to convey to us? No one, no Arsenal fan. All the Arsenal fans that, I love Arsenal to my core. But I feel that we do go in with rose-tinted glasses. I do feel that we're all hoping that maybe next season is going to be better, but not one, whether there's, so far I'm seeing there's 11, maybe 13 of you on this channel or on any other platform. Which one of you are going to send a letter or an email to Arsenal FC to say, okay, I've supported you X amount of years, but we're falling short. What is it that you're going to do that's going to be so different for me to buy in that we're going to be in the top 4, or we're going to challenge for the Premiership, or we're going to win Europe? What is it that you're going to, what is it you're going to do? I don't think anyone else is going to do that, because just maybe you don't want to back that up. I'll back it up. I'll send an email. I'll send something. I'll say, hang on now, guys. What? Pardon my French, but what in the hell are we doing that we are still where we are, and we have been for the longest time? Why aren't we doing something that we should be doing, which is to get ahead?
Do you know this fan forum? And I believe it was Jonathan, one of our contributors in Colombia. He was part of the forum. I think it was last year, actually. I think that's probably the best place you can ask those kind of questions, because they're not going to respond to a letter, much less an email. So asking hard and fast questions in the fan forum will be the place to get that idea. Because, like you said, even at the AGM, where they don't actually have to have AGMs, they don't have to respond to any questions. No. Would have been the place to ask those questions. What is your vision for Arsenal in the next 3 to 5 years? What is the plan going forward? Because we've seen what happened in the short history of Arsenal since you've been here, Mr. KSC. But what is your vision for the next 3 to 5 years? The opportunity to ask those questions are few and far between, Ralph. And that's just the way he wants it. He doesn't want to be accosted by Arsenal, a legacy fan, to ask those hard questions there. Because at the end of the day, like I could just see John's just said there, that Kroenke's vision is to get as much dollars out of the fans as possible. That's what he's here for. He couldn't give a squat diddly about, us winning any trophies or challenging seriously for the Premier League. He's a money man. But the way things are set up, it's limited opportunities to ask those difficult questions to the likes of Stan, much less to Josh Kroenke, Ralph. And in the future, those opportunities are going to be even less. And what I actually want to say, Ralph, was Dennis Hillwood and Peter Hillwood, may their souls rest in peace, were the owners of Arsenal a few years ago, many, many years ago. And I think it was Terry was saying that when Peter Hill was speaking about buying Arsenal, someone said to him, buying a football club, it's not a money maker. And boy, how things have changed. Things have changed. But the point I want to make is, an owner will not be at Arsenal forever. So it might be 5, 10, 15, 20 more years of the Kroenkes. Who knows? Chelsea have I think the UK government has just sanctioned the purchase of Chelsea for £4.3 billion. Yeah. I think. So the Kroenkes are not going to be here forever. The fans stay here forever. But if you are, like my brother said, if you are forever feeding a monster, going to buy the merchandise, you cannot complain about Arsenal. You can't complain about Arsenal because you're feeding the monster. The monster will be here a lot longer.
No, but Alex, I agree partially on what you said, but I feel that Arsenal fans, when they do buy the kit, they still feel that they can complain. They don't understand. I don't want to insult anyone, but I may upset a few people. They feel that buying the kit gives them a right to disagree or to argue about what's going on, but they may not understand the correlation between what they've done in terms of buying into a kit and not looking at the trail or the money trail, what actually happens when it gets to the Kroenke's pocket. If you're putting money in somebody else's pocket and you're not getting nothing out of it, but you still keep on doing that, you can argue, but you're not willing to step back and think, hang a minute now. For the last 5-6 seasons, my club has stagnated. We've seen other clubs who were below us overtake us. What is it that we're doing so wrong to not be up there where we should be? Nobody wants to take that step or that leap. Or if they do, they probably get a bit blindsided, or they say, you know what, actually, I'll stand back. I'll buy the kit because I'm supporting the club. You're supporting the club, but you're also supporting the guy at the top who has no. I always say that I said this to you last week, that I was ranting in the car last week because of what's going on. That we've got an owner who owns us, but he doesn't love us. He owns the club, but he doesn't love us. When you own something and your heart is involved in it, you love it. You want it. You care for it. You want to make it better. But you can own something and not love it, and he doesn't love us. And Josh, Josh probably can sit down and say, let's have a fan forum. I'm gonna individually pick you, and you can tell me what you want. And
Yeah,
he wouldn't open the door. I said this to you as well, if you remember last season. I said that how what if the club is really that big and they want to understand where we're coming from, open the stadium for one day in the week to all the fans. Make it free because you know you can still sell your merchandise, you still want to get your money. Open the stadium, open a forum, and say, right, guys, we've listened to you, but we hear pockets of what's going on. You probably don't understand where my vision is. Let me hear from you guys to say what is it that you feel that we should be doing. And I guarantee you, five get you 10. At the end of the night, one, their ears will be ringing, and two, they'll think, hang on a minute now, you know what? We have to wake up. Maybe not. Maybe they want to still keep on, but they know that there's that disquiet of angry and frustrated fans have legitimately told them what to do next. And if they don't do what we want them to do, the attendance will start dropping, the shirts will start dropping, and in the end, they do one or two things. They say, you know what, I'm going to drop this like a hot potato, or they're going to offer it and say, Arsenal for sale, take it off our hands, and then you can have the Dan Gotti, and you can have the guy from 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 Shopify.
Daniel Eck,
Yeah,
Spotify.
I mean that's gone quiet as well. That's gone quiet. So that's my take on it. But whether it will happen, of course.
But John has just put up a comment after God's power. Buying a kit or a season ticket doesn't give you a voice. Doesn't give you a voice, Ralph.
No, and that's what I said. I said how you have a right. Your well earned money has gone into a kit, and you're telling me that you don't want to question. Is it too much? Is it too much to ask? You want to be entertained, and yet you're frustrated at the end of a season or of a match because you traveled. You put your money into traveling. You put your money into buying, the food that's with the highest ticket still. With the highest ticket still, and yet you don't want to question the motives of the club. Is there something wrong? There's something wrong.
But Ralph, let me put the question back to you. What if you were someone buying, the merchandise, although you might still buy merchandise? What would you want? What would you demand from the club, Ralph?
What I would demand is I want to open. I put the comment up there with John the Gooner when he said, "Let me just put this up there." He said, "I think Kroenke is leasing out the stadium as well to outside parties." Yeah, so if he can do that, we've invested in the club. We're years. I say years. We're decades deep into this club. We're decades deep, so we have a moral right to find out what is it that KSC does. Why is it that they want the sustainability package that they're still profiting from, and we're not? We was outside the stadium. I said to Alex, the place needs a lick of paint. What is it that you guys, you people sat in, in those offices are doing? I said to you, let's go around the stadium again. No, I'm not going to do that because, they already had my money once before. You know what I mean? Okay, that's fair enough. But this is the club. This is the club that we invested in. This channel, we invest into this channel because we're getting people from all around the world saying what they want to say and feel how they feel. And after a season of what's happened, you got to dissect it and say, okay, so what happened? What's going to happen next? And what's our expectation? My expectation for next season, as optimistic as I am, we have to improve. We either have to win in Europe, win an FA Cup, or be in top four. Any one of those three, if we're outside of the top four, if we're fifth again, then the manager has to be under a spotlight. if we don't win a European place, and let's put it this way, we haven't won a European spot for going, is it 20 years? 20. I'm trying to think when was the last time. It would have been 24 years, 25 years with when Arsenal play against
What, Parma? You mean?
Parma?
Yeah. So that's
94.
yeah. That's like almost 18 years, isn't it? Oh,
It's more than that.
18 years. Ralph, just very, very quickly, I'll put out a poll on the live stream. I know you can't see it here, but the question was, are we pleased with a 5th spot finish? And you know what the result is, Ralph? 50% say yes, and 50% say no. 50-50 split, Ralph. And that is a representation of the fan base, isn't it? The fan base is divided, isn't it?
Yeah. That you know what? Of all the polls that you've put out, I think that's the first time that I've seen a 50-50 split. There you go. John Gruden says you can question them, but the fans have no say, and he knows that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what's the point? What's the point buying into a club, into a shared vision, if you don't have, you're a participant. You wear the shirt, you go and see the match, you watch it on TV, pay-per-view or whatever it is, and yet you still feel that you can't shift. You can't shift them. You can't make them uncomfortable. Why is that? That's the mediocrity that's set in. That's the mediocrity that's set in. I think we're gonna wrap this up shortly as well, because we've gone over an hour.
The numbers,
all the comments.
Yeah, the numbers have changed slightly now. We've out of 14 votes, 57% say now they're not happy with a 5th spot finish. So yeah. Ralph, who's your player of the season?
Fine margins. I think it's quite easy for me to say. It's easy for me to say Saka because of the season he had previous. I'm going to put it Saka. Emma Smith Rowe did drop off a fair bit, unfortunately. He came in and, but Ramsdale, because he came in with a lot of expectancy. And when you say, he's coming in, I'm thinking, yeah, but this guy, he's been at 2 clubs and they were relegated. And I think there's a lot of pressure on him. And the way that he gets behind the defense, the way he entertains the opposition as well as the home crowds, his natural exuberance. Yeah, okay, he dropped off a bit, but I think most of the players dropped off a bit towards the end, because I think that the North London derby was by far the most frustrating match, because we had huge expectations and they didn't turn up. And then Newcastle didn't turn up. And you decided to score 5 against Everton, but Everton didn't play their full strength, to be honest, because they already survived.
Yeah.
So for me, the standout, definitely Saka, definitely Ramsdale. I think Odegaard, in and out, he needs to be a player that when he puts his foot on the ball, he needs to lead if he's going to be captain, or he's captain a few times. The jury's, for me, still out on Partey. Holding, unfortunately, experience, but he should know better. Martinelli needs to start scoring goals.
But he's scoring goals. Stop-start season, isn't it? Stop-start.
It is a stop-start season. It is a stop-start season. But again, the team, the squad, was only playing a game, a match maybe twice in a week or once a week or once a fortnight.
Yeah.
Had no FA Cup, had no European Cups or anything like that. And I can understand why maybe it's the balancing act between wanting to play every match that you want to play, but also managing the team accordingly. And Arteta, again, the Olympiacos look came in at the North London derby as well as against Newcastle, and he needs to start having a strong number two. Whether he'll do that, I doubt it. I doubt it. I think he'll go with who he wants to go in with.
Yeah, that was going to be the point I was going to make. Actually, I know it's difficult, for the best of us. I mean, I know you've managed and you manage. I've managed people as well, and my brother will probably tell you that I can be quite stubborn. Quite stubborn. But for a manager like Mikel Arteta, he does need a strong number two, someone who can tell him, actually, Mikel Arteta, you need to make the substitution now, or you need to, this is the 11 that we need to go with. He needs a strong number two, an experienced, strong number two. Like I said, whether he goes for it, I doubt very much he'll go for a strong number two, because for him, he's quite happy.
Well, that's it. Yeah. And also, if you look at the successful partnerships, I'll go back with Nottingham Forest, Brian Clough and Peter Taylor. Peter Taylor would push Brian Clough into certain discussions. Yeah. As awkward as it may be, it made Cloughie, although Cloughie got arrested, so he probably feel that he was God's gift, and I think in a sense, he pretty much was. But then you look at I hate to say it, you look at Man United. Ferguson had a strong number two, but then he wasn't afraid to get rid of somebody else to push his game as well. So they're strengthening that also, recognizing that you need someone who can push you to make those hard decisions. And Pep had Arteta, and then all of a sudden Arteta decided to go to Arsenal. Now, who's Pep's number two? I can't tell you who it is because he's there.
I have no idea.
And he's helping Pep.
I have no idea.
So there's that. There's that.
Before we wrap up,
if Arteta is happy, we're gonna wrap up.
Before you wrap up,
once again.
Before you wrap up, Ralph, just again the stats, the question, the poll live in the chat is: are we pleased with a fifth spot finish? The numbers have changed. We had 15 votes. It is now 47% of you say yes, you are happy, and 53 are still not happy. Fifth spot finish, Ralph. Anyway.
One more entry from John Laguna. He says, John says, thank you, Raf. Aaron was the most entertaining, consistent, I thought.
Yeah, we both agree. Ramsdale, yeah. Although he kind of tailed off as well towards the end of the season, but I would say Ramsdale for some of the saves that he did there. I was thinking, wow, and it galvanizing the defense, being the oracle at the back. But for me, it was Ramsdale, closely followed by Bukayo Saka. But yeah.
Okay, guys, thanks very much for listening to my end of season rant. Frustration. Thanks very much for Alex. Alex, we're doing this transfer news from when? Are you doing it from tomorrow, or are you going to do it from next week?
I started since last week.
A bit better than Arteta trying to get the players that he needs.
If he needs an advisor,
Alex is all ready to go.
Yeah, if he needs an advisor, just the email's in the box below, Mikel Arteta.
I'm gonna call it quits. And
you got one more comment, Ralph.
Yeah, I think my flip-flops are on the beach at the moment, so I'm gonna join them, and I'll duck in now and again with Ajax. Oh my gosh! I just had another one that's coming quickly, and then we're gonna bounce. Priceless Truth Records label income says per Mertesacker today, the Arsenal fans, the club will be in 3 years. 2021-22 is now 1 year of that 3 year. Trust the process, it says.
Nah. Sorry.
There we go. There we go. End on that note. Okay. Thanks very much. Guys, have a great rest of the weekend. Join Alex again from Monday onwards. And this is Raz bouncing. Cheers, guys. It's been emotional. It's been emotional. Take care. Take care, guys. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, make the channel grow, and I'll see you on another video. Bye for now. Bye.